Break it down.
I'm Mike Warot, and my talk is totally impromptu. Computer security can be fixed. Imagine I owe Steve $1. Okay? There's a couple ways I could pay Steve. I can say, you know, the usual way would be to, you know, open up my wallet, find $1, hand it to Steve. Now, imagine that I'm my computer, and I need to pay Steve's computer. Well, the way that works is, I run a program, and the program pays Steve. But the thing is, that program can do anything. It could take my wallet and give it to Steve. It could take my wallet and replace it with a fake copy. It can do anything. When you run a program, it can do anything you're allowed to do. This model is insane. When you let a program do anything, literally anything, you have no way of knowing whether it's safe. All the virus scanners in the world all work by knowing and matching things that have been found to be bad. If you really want to know, you have to solve something called the halting problem. And that has been proven basically to be impossible to do. So, there is a way to solve this. Unfortunately, you have to rewrite everything from the scratch or put a layer in between things. And what it would do is simply, when you run a program, you give it the program and you tell it what resources it's allowed to use. And only those resources are given to it. Computers and operating systems can do this. And technically it's not that hard to do. If it's not in the list, you don't get access to it. You only get access to things that are in the list. VMware kind of does that. You give it a disk file, you give it a network, you give it some memory, and that's all it's allowed to access. It can't get at anything else. So I need to find people who know enough about code and kernels and things like that to put together a system that can prove the point that it's possible to take code from anywhere and just run it. If this can be done, you can build a system that doesn't require a virus scanner. You can run anything, like you currently can with phones in the app stores. You can download an app and it works. For now, that's a safe thing to do. But it won't be in a couple years, because there's going to be things that are getting exploited, and it's just a matter of time before you need virus scanners now on your phones and your devices. Nothing is going to be safe. I think that eventually this will be fixed, but right now it's not there yet. So it can be fixed. It doesn't. You don't have to filter the whole internet and take away everybody's rights to try to fix this, because that won't work anyway. So that's it.
It can be fixed.
It can be fixed, right? Is that?
Do you have a number? How long? How many years do you think?
15 years. I used to say 20.
There's an entire industry based on not fixing this.
Right. Don't be layers of industries, right.
And if anyone's not familiar with general time frames for like developers, times are by about 6. So
3.2.
Wasn't that the TCB, trusted
or at least
computer base?
No, trusted computer base is all about running one particular program to make sure that the operating environment when you first start it up is right. But that doesn't tell you, again, it doesn't specify what actions a program's allowed to do. So if you can trick a program in a trusted computer platform into doing anything that you want for a little bit, you can take over the whole system.
Capistrano?
Plan 9.
Are you familiar with Singularity Project?
Plan 9 is actually closer than...
Yeah,
Plan 9 already.
The Singularity Project?
Singularity kind of tried to do that with Microsoft and
Yeah,
.NET.
so there's a Microsoft research project.
Yeah, there are some research projects out there. There's something called Polaris for the PC. There's nurses. There's a SecNurse, which is a project for Linux that do this kind of stuff.
It addresses what he's
That's not it.
No. No, that's not what we're referring to. I knew you would say that.
Right. NSA, SE Linux, there's something called AppArmor. What AppArmor does is you say,
all of them are terrible.
Program,
all of them are terrible.
All of them suck because they don't tell you, you don't get to say, just give it this, this, and this. You know, when you hand a valet key to your car, he can only get at your car. He can't take money out of your bank. So it's you need to specify.
You've converted the problem now into a key management problem.
Right.
You haven't solved the problem.
No, but if you can hand a list of keys, you at least make a tractable problem as opposed to saying,
That's what all these systems have done is change. They have a very firm sort of theoretical model that gets you a little bit, but
Right.
the practicalities of making that work in a user system that is usable,
Yeah.
no one solved, and that's not a technology problem.
This may not be for like maybe this discussion, but all of our programs when they talk to each other have to go through pipes basically. Like they're these big giant
Series of
systems.
tubes?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
No, I mean this logically. Like you have a giant system, in a program, right? And it has to communicate to another giant program over this little tiny thing. You got to serialize the data. You got to do. It can only talk in very specific ways, interfaces. And that's a terrible model. You can't say I only want this little part of the system, and you compress it all down into these little tiny tunnels of communication. It doesn't necessarily work. You have to expose more of that system out into the tunnel so you can get multiple APIs. You can get multiple little chunks of data directly without having to go through a little skinny pipe.
MSP. So it's kind of an idea. Good call.